Can't talk about the game.
Mike's banned. Can we say that?
What about Mike?
That's not related to the game. Mike is banned.
Mike has to stay banned now.
He's away from the podcast. Sorry, Mike.
Somehow I don't think he's going to be like scrapping to get back on anytime soon. If this is the case, he gets a nice long honeymoon vacation. The Sixers don't ever fucking lose again.
It's been a month.
He's going to be pleased as punch about this. Oh my God! Look at CJ. I've never seen you this way.
Yeah,
CJ.
CJ's riled up. This is
oh my goodness.
CJ holds it for the playoffs.
This was a standing game. After like 2 minutes in the second quarter, I'm standing. Desk is up, behind the couch standing.
Okay.
One of those.
Yeah, I was busy setting up for this, so I didn't do my usual like kind of pacing in front of the television, like trying to get the right angle.
I love
on
it.
Like,
I love the early setup. I love the early setup.
What else did I talk about?
How was your day?
Yeah, how was your day?
My day was interesting. It's better now, certainly. I did not get much sleep last night. I'm going on coffee and Yingling, and I don't even know what else right now. But
as a tip for next time, if you want to like keep going, Yingling is not. You don't want the beer. You just want the coffee.
Says you, man. Give me 5 or 6 of these things. I'll go from an 8 to a 10 real quick. Here
we go. This will fill up the last 30 seconds. You know what I was thinking today? I was like, should I chew nicotine gum? Like, doesn't nicotine like make you focus?
Everyone's trying to do is include more nicotine in their diet and their lives. Like that's definitely like a health conscious choice you're making right there.
I'm gonna hear something from Mike from Body Bio. I'm sure I'll get a 75 line long text about nicotine. I'm sure it's coming. All right, let's go. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is proudly presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS, and brought to you by Anna Horford, Al Horford's wife. I'm just kidding. It's brought to you by MortgageCS. Become a MortgageCS Ricky VIP at mortgagecs.com/Ricky. By the way, we have some tickets for Game 3 from MortgageCS. We'll give them away later. I don't know how. CJ, think of something. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And Stateside Urban Craft Vodka, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe, statesidevodka.com. On the show today, Mike stays banned because the Sixers beat the Celtics without Joel Embiid in the James Harden game. They didn't waste the James Harden game. And believe it or not, I know you're going to think this is crazy, but the game was iced by 2 Paul Reed free throws. What the fuck? All that, and Joel Embiid will be named MVP on Tuesday. And we will, if we have time, wrap up the barbershop controversy later on. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. We'd love to get to 11,000 by the end of the playoffs. We're going to have, 6 more weeks or something, but we'd like to get it sooner rather than later. We are live after every game. Hit the subscribe button and then also turn on notifications. I mentioned Stateside Urban Craft Vodka. I had myself a Surfside on Saturday. It was raining. It was pouring up here, sitting around. It was like 2 p.m. I had the iced tea and lemonade and vodka Surfside. There's all those flavors now. There's the iced tea and vodka. There is the peach tea and vodka. There's the lemonade and vodka. Of course, there's the amazing vodka sodas and the Stateside straight up vodka. You got to be 21 to drink it. Get it at statesidevodka.com. Without any further ado, AU is here. Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with the guy that is co-hosting the podcast until the Sixers lose. That is one Andrew Unterberger. Ladies and fucking gentlemen.
I'm just going to be laughing this entire podcast. I'm just going to be giggling into this fucking microphone for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long we're doing this thing. Like I'm punch drunk. I don't even know how to process what I just saw. I would start by saying, look, I think before this postseason, the last podcast I was on was Game 5 against the Hawks, which I think we could probably agree was the worst loss of the process era. If not that, and definitely bottom 2, bottom 3. I sort of thought that was just going to be the tone for my appearances from here on out. I cannot believe that I am talking into this microphone after probably the best playoff win of the process here. And I think that's what this is. James Harden, 45 fucking points. Paul Reed is the best backup center on the planet. He might just be the best center, period. I got
to give James Harden credit. I got to step up right now and give James Harden credit. I was excited when they traded for him. And then, the first week was glorious last year. The first 2 weeks were glorious. And then it fell apart. And then he had that Game 6 against Miami. And then they had the run in the middle of the season. But to be honest with you, I had no faith of him in the playoffs. And quite honestly, when they came into this game without Embiid, I thought it was possible Sixers would keep it close, and I figured it would be a Maxey game, to be quite honest with you. I thought that's what it was. Maxey had a nice little run here and there. But for James Harden to come through with a game like this on the road with Embiid out, it was incredible. It was incredible. He deserves every bit of credit for this game. There were a lot of hands in the victory of this game. De'Anthony Melton had a nice little run in there. Paul Reed got it together again in the second straight game. He had a rough first half, but a good second half. But Harden hitting that 3 at the end. And honestly, this was, I thought, the most impressive thing that Harden did. Is that the first couple of weeks of this season, he had this little mid-range game. And we were like, is this going to be James Harden's thing or whatever? And then it just disappeared. As he and Embiid figured out their thing, it just sort of disappeared the rest of the year. And I think he recognized in that Nets series, I'm going to have trouble finishing at the rim because I don't have much left. I got to go back to this thing. And he went back to it. And it was successful. And it's just like, he's a great little, like, he's got great touch. He's a good shooter and he can get those shots. And he was getting those shots. And as soon as he started getting those shots, it had, and he was hitting threes, it had the defense like uneven, on edge. It allowed him to get to the rim a few times. It's a great game from James Harden. I didn't think he had it in him. He had it in him. He can go to Las Vegas all he wants, smack the shit out of his friends outside of clubs, 1:30 in the morning. Doesn't fucking matter. I'm wrong. You're right. He can do whatever he wants in his free time. We will, no matter where James Harden is next year, we will always have this game. This game was huge. Enormous performance from James Harden.
Yeah, 1,000%. Maybe get that guy to, like, as long as Mike is banned, maybe get like the guy he slapped to co-host the next podcast. If we can find him. Yeah.
Yes. Let's get him. Let's get a member of his crew who got whacked and not whacked, smacked. Didn't get killed in Las Vegas. Huge performance from James Harden. Just an absolutely huge performance.
And look, I think you said the mid range, that little kind of like 10-foot step back thing he's got going. That was the biggest part for me. I mean, that's definitely up there for me. The biggest thing was, he took that, or there was that early shot that Marcus Smart slid his feet under Harden when he landed. He got the 3, but he didn't get the call. And it could have been as much as a flagrant 1 if they'd even bothered to look at it, but they got no whistle on it. He got no whistle the entire first half. The Sixers got no whistle the entire first half. And there have been so many games, including in this postseason, where Harden doesn't get that call. He fucking pouts. He doesn't get back on defense. He gets out of his game. He gets in his head, and he doesn't continue to produce. This one, he shrugged it off. He didn't start grifting. He didn't start bitching to the refs on every play he didn't get. He was hitting shots. And look, when he had that 16-point first quarter or whatever it was, I think we all sort of thought, okay, like, this is a good showing. Now it's probably going to come back down. He's going to finish with like 24, right? Like, yep. He's going to. But he stayed on his game. He picked his spots really, really well. He made a couple of just beautiful fucking passes. That one to Tobias that he kind of airlifted over his head. I don't know how he found him behind the arc on that one. And he stayed on it. And this is the best game he's ever played in a Sixers uniform. And he'll probably never play a better one. And we needed it. We needed this performance tonight. We needed to win this game. If we don't win this game, we don't win the series. We still might not win the series, but we had to have this fucking game. We had to have it.
Oh,
we got it.
Fuck Boston. Fuck Boston. Like you know what? I could understand them coming in the first quarter, 2 quarters, thinking to themselves like, we don't need to work that hard on defense. We don't need to work that hard. It's just sort of like this natural thing that happens. But they, instead of like buckling down, they tightened up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And even a couple of the and ones they made felt like tight shots to me. And now the Sixers, we'll get to this in a minute. Now the Sixers have an interesting decision to make for game 2, because if Embiid was thinking about it, you've already basically, it's like mission accomplished in Boston now, even if you go back 1-1, and now you can buy him until Friday. Who knows what happens? Just an amazing performance from James Harden, an amazing performance from James Harden. I don't know what else I can say about it, but he like, and what this will be the game. If he ends up leaving, this will be the game that we all like bash our heads against the wall in for the next 3 years, as the Sixers don't win the championship after this year. If they don't win it this year and he leaves, this will be the game that we always think about. And I hope, by the way, he takes something from this game other than, 70% of my threes are going to go down, like bringing back that little mid-range thing. It's a little bit harder with Embiid there, but bringing back that little mid-range thing, I think could be really effective for him for the rest of the season. Mid-range can be effective when you're playing in the playoffs. And I hope it sticks around. Sticks around.
And he seemed like he got stronger as the game went on. Like I expected a kind of natural fade there, but there was that, I can't remember if it was in the late third or the early fourth, but he dusted Jaylen Brown on the perimeter and he got to the rim for probably his best like layup of the night. That was unbelievable. And that was the thing we didn't see at all in the Brooklyn series. And that was the thing that, and like, look, he got lucky on some shots for sure. He got a couple bounces that, like, I really think he was kind of cashing the karmic check of all those layups that rimmed off in that game 4 in Brooklyn. But he was mixing it up. He wasn't getting predictable. He did a couple times. He dribbled the shot clock down to nothing and then kind of lifted up some junk. That's James Harden's going to happen. But he was producing throughout. He was making the right decisions. He was making the right plays. His body was kind of responding to what his mind was telling it to do, which is not always the case with James Harden. It's unbelievable. I mean, I didn't think it was going to get better than that game 4 in Miami, or the game 4 against Miami rather, last year. I thought that was going to kind of be the James Harden legacy game with the Sixers. Now this might be the best playoff game of his career, like, period. Right?
It's hard. I don't remember all his playoff games, but it has to be.
Ask Zach Lowe about that one, I guess. Yeah. But it's definitely in the discussion, and it's one of the best performances I can remember seeing of the entire process era, probably.
By the way, in all of the excitement, I mean, if they keep winning and Mike stays banned, does this become the new?
It's like one of the theme songs of the series.
Oh, the Ricky?
Only you know the answer to that one.
Only I know the answer.
Let me just say.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to win this game. And I don't know why I thought that going in. I've talked a bunch of times about how they haven't won a game 1.
What do the kids say? CJ, do the kids say that's cap when somebody's lying?
Look, man, I could show you the text to my mother. I told her I got a feeling about this game. Can't explain why. I got a feeling. And look, obviously the Celtics way outplayed the Sixers in the first half. In that first quarter, the Sixers were leading or neck and neck for most of it. We were hitting contested 2s and 3s. They were hitting dunks, and it looked like it was going to even out. Then at halftime, you look at the Celtics are shooting 73% of the field. They're only up by 7. Yeah. You knew this. You knew they were going to tighten up. Paul Reed came. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Paul Reed, I'm sure. He came alive at the end of the second. He was unbelievable. He changed the game defensively in the second half. And this was the blueprint against Boston. You kind of hang in, you go shot for shot with them down, into the third and into the fourth. And then eventually they get tight and they fuck it up. And we saw that against Atlanta. We saw that a bunch of times in the regular season. We saw it tonight. Like this was always a winnable game, even as bad as the Sixers looked in the first quarter. And I know a lot of people were writing off the entire series, and I don't blame them for doing that. That was a bad fucking first quarter. But they ended it only down 7. They ended the half only down around 7. And they stuck in the game, and eventually they broke through. And that's what you got to do against the Celtics team. and we'll see Embiid in game 3 probably.
All right. So it is we don't have Vegas Mike here. Do we have the Vegas? We don't have Vegas Mike, but we do have Vegas AU. All right. Vegas AU.
Oh boy.
I'm looking at the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Game 2. What do you think the line is at game 2? So game 1, the line closed at -10.5. Celtics -10.5.
Say -8.5.
Wow. Do we need Vegas Mike at all? It's -9. It is actually -9. And then the price to win the series. So this is quite a jump. The Celtics before game 1 at DraftKings Sportsbook were -500. The Celtics now are -190. Now they're still the biggest favorite in the playoffs right now, but it cut it in half. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers use code RTRS, make a $5 bet, and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, everyone, even you, can get a no sweat same game parlay. I tried a same game parlay today. Did not nail it, but I feel good about it anyway. I think the odds, I think it was like plus 2,000, whatever. Every day during the NBA playoffs, open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place the same game parlay on any NBA game. If you lose, they'll give you a bonus bet back in the amount of your initial bet, up to $10. Download the app now. Sign up with code RTRS. New customers make a $5 NBA bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code RTRS. Got to be 21. See show notes for details. Is it 18 or 21? 21. Most eligible states. See show notes for details. I got to get that down straight. Sorry, DraftKings. Who do we talk about next? So this was an interesting game because Harden was really good the entire time, essentially. But then there were like little stretches of someone coming through. I think most notably, De'Anthony Melton had a stretch in the first half where he hit, I think, 4 threes. And then in the third quarter, Tyrese Maxey like showed that burst, and it was nice for him to have a good game, especially because he has struggled against Boston so much. I think he was averaging 8 points a game coming into this against Boston this year, or something like that. So I thought the contributions of those two guys, and plus, and we'll throw this guy in there, we had a couple of Tobias Harris going to work. Give me the ball and go to town, Tobias Harris. But I thought specifically Melton and Maxey had really important roles in big buckets. When the other team's shooting 70%, you can't just have one guy scoring, and those two guys were huge.
Yeah, let's start by talking about Melton, because I don't think we mentioned him at all after game 4 in Brooklyn. He was great in that game too. In the second half, he had like 14 in the fourth quarter, something like that. Hit a ton of big shots that kind of kept them in that game too, and helped them pull away. And then, yeah, we probably lose this game. This game's probably over in the second quarter without De'Anthony Melton tonight. Like he hit, I think, 4 threes in that second quarter, and not like clean looks, but not easy looks. Like looks where the defender was closing in on him. He was maybe tilting one way or the other. Like a lot of them in kind of quasi transition, and he was just knocking them down. And that was he's like the one guy of our non-stars that I really had faith would show up in this series. He showed up in most of the big games so far in this regular season. Obviously, he's had some cold and hot stretches here and there, but he's a gamer, and you trust him to show up in a game like this. And look, he didn't do much in the second half, aside from a couple good defensive possessions here and there. But all we needed from him was that big scoring output in the second quarter, and we got it from him. We really needed it.
Sorry, I'm trying to talk to CJ about how to give away the MortgageCS tickets. I'm just instructing him in the right way.
Should I move on to Tyrese in the meantime?
No. Go ahead and do it. Melton was, throughout the year, there has been a great deal, some earned, some unearned, of Daryl Morey slander. Some earned, some unearned, some fair, some unfair. The De'Anthony Melton pickup seems like a fever dream. Like you could give him credit for the the Danny Green pickup was a good one, right? Danny Green was an important player on this team, but it was almost like, of course we get this guy when he's like 3 years away from retirement or whatever. We don't get the prime. Yeah. we don't get the prime version of this guy. Getting De'Anthony Melton at this point in his career for this specific team was absolutely huge. And De'Anthony Melton, both defensively and offensively, has been an enormous win. And that was a huge trade. I know we lost Mike's boat, David Roddy, in the trade, and I can understand the pain with that. But De'Anthony Melton was a necessary trade, and it was a really good move from Morey, who has been sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly criticized for his moves so far this year. You know, when you say sometimes wrongly, you think, wow, is Daniel House even on the team? Like, you think about that, you're like, wow, we're paying him $6 million. That's pretty crazy. But the De'Anthony Melton trade was great. Okay, on to Maxey. Go ahead. It's on you.
I mean, kind of a frustrating night for Tyrese in a lot of ways. Like, I think he was 2 of 9, 2 of 10 from 3, and a lot of their shots looked like they were good until they just kind of rimmed out. So I think his final stat line probably isn't going to look as good as it felt in real time. But he kind of lifted us out of the mud in the second and third quarters. And he had a couple of those like super high kind of Steph Curry style layups at the rim that that's definitely something that we haven't really seen from him before, at least haven't seen efficiently. Wish he had a little bit more of that in between game, the sort of, pull up and turn around from 12 to 15 feet. That's still not really going for him. And you hope that more of the threes are going to drop as the series goes. But he made so many gutty plays. He made huge plays on defense, too. Like, we didn't talk a lot about his defense in that Brooklyn series. It's not like a real top of mind thing. And he still gets burned on occasion, especially when he gets matched up against like a Tatum or a Brown. But he can hang much better than he could earlier in the season. And he makes plays. He gets in passing lanes. He gets his hand on balls on drives. And he obviously made the biggest defensive play of the game tonight, although he kind of got thrown the ball there. It was about the easiest pick six you're going to get in the NBA. But, he was there and he was opportunistic about it. And he got us the go-ahead bucket there. And he was unbelievable, just sort of hanging in, fighting against a team that's been a really tough matchup for him all season, all of his career. Really is a really long team, really tough team for him to sort of find the angles against. But he came up big. And again, the final shooting line probably won't reflect it, but we needed all of his points tonight and got those free throws at the end, and he was huge.
Can I just say fuck the Boston Celtics and their horrible fans? I know this is not related. Oh, and by the way, fuck Malcolm Brogdon for stealing the Rookie of the Year. And we never got revenge on you. And that ridiculous pass and then watching Maxey go to the other end was revenge for that. So fuck you. Fuck the Boston Celtics. And I remember when I was dating my wife early on, she was a fan of the Iggy Celtics, the Iggy, Alton Brand, Drew Holiday,
the Iggy Sixers.
The Sixers, yeah. I'm not the Celtics, the Sixers. That I'm getting to that part. That team that ended up going to the conference semis. The what's the movie? The Adam Sandler movie,
Uncut Gems.
The Uncut Gems team. Yeah. So if you'll remember, that Game 7 was Memorial Day weekend, and we push it to Game 7. And I tell her, we're just dating at the time, we should drive to Boston on Memorial Day weekend. You know what she doesn't want to do? Drive to Boston Memorial Day weekend. But she did it. And we went up there and we very quietly sat in that arena and watched the Sixers lose. And these two disgusting Celtics fans started teasing me at the end. And my wife went up to fight them. She was going to fight those girls. Was screaming right in their face. The Delco came out of her. And ever since that day, I've wanted revenge on those two girls. And this game is revenge on those two Celtics fans.
I've heard this story like 50 times by now, by the way. I never really get sick of it, though.
Okay. All right, good.
Still got some juice. But yeah, look, we've never handed Boston a loss like this. We've never handed Boston, in this era, we've never handed them like an embarrassing loss. Like a one that's just going to cause a fucking meltdown among their terrible fans. Can you imagine what it must be like on Celtics Twitter right now? It's everything that they've ever feared in one game. And, I don't know what this means for the series. It's probably not time to talk about that yet anyway. But, man, just to get a game like this. We won one game out of 9 tries.
Can I explain to you? I'm sorry for interrupting. I'll tell you what it means for the series is the Sixers can win this series.
Yes.
Now it's reality. I don't know if they will, but I can tell you that going into this series, as you said before, they just fucking needed this game. I mean, they needed one in the first two, but one
they weren't getting game 2. They had to get this one.
Yeah, they had to get this game, and they can win the series now. Will they? I don't know if they will, but what this game means is the Sixers can win this series, and they have bought themselves time, and they've bought themselves a little bit of wiggle room with Embiid out. Now, like, we will talk about the Embiid thing a little bit later, and I got to be honest with you, the reporting on it, I'm just sick of and fucking tired. I wish they would just fucking say what it is. Sham's tweeting that it's worse than a grade 1 sprain. What does that even mean?
It's a brain teaser.
Yeah. It's like, are you trying to trick me? But that's what it means. They can beat the Celtics, and the Celtics were most of the season were the title favorites. I believe before this series, they were the title favorites, and the Sixers have a chance to beat the title favorites. And for the first time in this era, go to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not a done deal, but they have a chance, and they needed this game. It was a huge win. James Harden has like his mark in Sixers lore at this point, with this game.
We got to talk about B-ball. When are we going to talk about B-ball?
Yeah. Actually, before we talk about B-ball, let's talk about MortgageCS. We have tickets to game 3. CJ, can you pop up for a second? So Alec and Ben texted me. They're like, hey, we got a couple of tickets for game 3. Can we give them away? Alec and Ben from MortgageCS. So what are we doing, CJ?
Yeah, so I would share my screen, but Twitter is not working on desktop right now. So I just tweeted it out. We got a tweet up.
Okay.
You like and retweet. You give us a follow, and you follow MortgageCS, and then you're entered. And we're going to pick a winner at random.
Okay.
An hour before tip-off, game 2.
Ooh. Oh, hour before tip-off of game 2. Yes.
Yeah,
I was
not
boy, what a challenge that is.
Yeah, not doing that. Game 2, we'll announce it, random tweet finder, and then we'll get a winner.
Okay, so go on to our Twitter, retweet or like it, retweet and like it, CJ, retweet and like, and follow us and follow MortgageCS. Love MortgageCS. Of course, they sponsored Live Ricky 5, the video presentation. I got a video text from Ben for MortgageCS the other day with a couple of MortgageCS Ricky people. I believe it was Matt and Gretchen, just bought a house. They looked so functional and normal and healthy. It was incredible. Functional, normal, healthy Ricky listeners going to MortgageCS to get a mortgage. CS stands for concierge service. I'm going to boil this down for you for MortgageCS, because you can Google mortgage, you see commercials for mortgage places. MortgageCS is independent. They only care about you. They are honest, they're communicative, and they are responsive. That's all you need to know. They're going to tell you everything you need to know about the mortgage process, but they are a mortgage broker, not a lender. They're not the ones giving you the money. They go to the different banks and find you the absolute best rate. And because they don't have any secret deals with any of these banks, their only responsibility is to you. You don't have to worry about them leading you in a direction that might benefit them a little more than it benefits you. And every person we send a MortgageCS, every person says the same thing. 2 ways. You go to mortgagecs.com/Ricky and see the amazing little site they've set up for us. I'm very proud of that site, mortgagecs.com/Ricky, or call or text their CEO, Ben. Now, there's a couple thousand people watching live right now. If you were to text their CEO, Ben, right now, you might be able to freeze his phone or something. I don't want you to do that, but then you'd have Ben's number saved. You could say hello to him, thank him for giving away the tickets. 267-391-7425. 267-391-7425. Another important thing about having MortgageCS is they're there for you whenever you need them. When you need a mortgage, you might need a pre-qualification letter, like, at night, on the weekends. They're always ready for you. Again, mortgagecs.com/Ricky, or call or text Ben at 267-391-7425. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. MortgageCS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com/Ricky for more information. Let's talk about BBall, Paul.
That's right. Let's do it.
There's a lot of little moments from this game that I think that will go down in BBall Paul lore. And to be quite honest with you, I do have a little bit of urge to call it the BBall Paul game, even though it is clearly the James Harden game. The fact that I love the little relationship with B-Ball and Doc, to be quite honest with you. It's a little bit charming. It went from infuriating to a little bit charming. I likened it on the last pod or 2 pods ago, whatever, to the teacher in the teen movie who finally sees their fuck up student do something good. And he's always been on that student's ass and nods and smiles when the student really comes through at the end, does the great science project. Doc leaving B-Ball in to struggle through that first fucking half. It was defensively, B-Ball was a disaster defensively. Now, it wasn't just him. There were a lot of backdoor cuts. It wasn't like his fault that he wasn't just standing there, but it was not successful. He didn't do anything on offense, but he stuck with it and they stuck it with him. And I really think it was those 2 buckets at the end of the first half that got his brain in it. I think it was 2 little just pick and rolls with Harden, if I remember correctly. And I think they just got his head in it. And once he gets rolling, he's like a boulder or something. Like once B-Ball Paul starts rolling, once he starts getting fucking rebounds, once he starts defending smaller guys on the perimeter, once he starts catching the ball from Harden, what a game from B-Ball Paul. And the fucking free throws, man. The fucking free throws. The first 2 he hits don't even touch rim, but then with 5 seconds left or whatever it is, 4 seconds left or 3 seconds left, the Sixers are up 2, and B-Ball Paul has a chance to hit 2 free throws and ice the fucking game in Boston against the Celtics, and he doesn't even hit rim.
What a guy. What a human being. And look, did you see how many minutes B-Ball Paul played in the first 3 quarters of this game? 36 total minutes possible. How many minutes Paul played?
Oh, no. How many? 30?
33. 33 out of 36. Game 1, second round in fucking Boston. Paul Reed getting 33 of the first 36 minutes, and he earned them. True, bad first half. Got rolling on those 2 pick and roll buckets that you mentioned. And that's the greatest thing about Paul Reed is that's all it takes. All it takes is 1 positive play, and he is off. And it's not just the scoring, it's the rebounding, it's the switching, it's the getting hands on balls, getting after loose balls, just anything you could possibly want from a backup center. Now we can say anything, almost anything you want from a starting center. It's almost Kevon Looney-esque. I mean, that guy was one of the most important players in that Warriors series. B-Ball Paul is probably our second or third most important player tonight. Like, he is legitimately a great basketball player. We don't win this game without him. We're not even in this game without him. The Celtics are still scoring at the fucking rim right now if B-Ball Paul isn't there.
As Zoe says, Daryl, the price has gone up for B-Ball Paul.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to think about that.
3 years, $60 million.
But you talk about those free throws. We got to talk about the thing that led to 2 of those free throws, which is James Harden getting double teamed like 30 feet away from the basket. Most crucial possession of the game. He fucking passes it to B-Ball. Wide open runway, gets to the basket, gets fouled. Kind of hoped he was going to finish that for an and one, but whatever. He gets the free throws. But B-Ball Paul getting like the most important look of the game from the guy who just wouldn't pass him the ball like 2 months ago, maybe like 4 weeks ago. Just a guy was persona non grata in the half court as far as James Harden is concerned. Now he's trusting him in the most important possessions of the game. Unbelievable performance, and you knew it was coming. You knew if Doc could just stick with him for long enough, he was going to have that breakthrough moment, and it was just going to get better and better from there. And yeah, he's got that boulder in him. I don't know. He starts rolling. Look out. Unbelievable. B-Ball Paul. What a guy.
His name is literally the name of the sport.
I mean, that's what it is. And another thing, no foul trouble. No foul trouble at all. I don't know what he ended up with, maybe 4.
Well, he didn't defend 1 shot at the rim in the first half, which I think
that was smart game management by B-Ball Paul. Well done, B-Ball. Keep yourself in the game. Live to fight another day. Good fucking show. Unbelievable.
If he keeps playing like this, he's going to have no choice but to charge for shipping.
The price has gone up in more than one area here.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
We got a funny email that I don't think B-Ball is sending out the hoodies anymore. I believe it is coming from his mom in Michelle Reed in Orlando, Florida. We got an email from Dan saying that the price has gone up to such a level that he's needed to start employing family members or something. So,
well, shouts to her too. She's on the next shirt.
Isn't it the weirdest thing that zone defense seems to flummox every NBA team?
Yeah. You think it's only the Sixers because it always works against us, and then you realize that no other team does that much better against it. I mean, I do think you play it long enough, and eventually they figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's like playing with a new coach, or like you're missing your top guy. It's just a different look, and no one really expects it for whatever reason at any point. And it'll work really well for like 4 to 6 minutes of game action, and then you better have another backup plan. But yeah, changed the game tonight, certainly, a couple times.
Tobias had a couple of nice buckets, was pretty brutal defensively in the first half, but did have a couple of nice buckets, I think. He is, when they don't have Embiid, he is like actually kind of crucial because you need him for like 6 to 8 possessions where he goes and gets you a bucket. And the one where he like ran in circles with Horford in the middle of the lane, somehow stretching 3.5 seconds of shot clock into 9 seconds. I don't know how he ran so many times in circles there to do that. Shout out Anna Horford, Al Horford's wife. That was a big bucket from Tobias Harris.
Yeah, and that was like the classic, like, he still has the ball in his hands, the shot clock goes off, and like we're just going back on defense wondering what the fuck happened. He also hit like a couple really, really clutch
big threes,
catch and shoot threes. Yeah, that one at the end of the first half was really big. And then that one I previously mentioned off the airlifted Harden, kick out to the top of the arc, really huge. And did kind of hang with Tatum, I think, on a couple of really big possessions in the second half defensively. Nobody really played great on defense tonight, probably on either side. But I would say he's probably he's on the better end of the Sixers in this one.
And I think I would be remiss if I did not mention that this game changed in the first possession.
This is in my notes, by the way. I put it down there immediately. I was wondering if we were going to get to it at all, but yeah.
The first possession in the second half where PJ Tucker announces his arrival to the basketball game, steals it, and then I think gets an offensive rebound right on the shot on that possession. The guy just does the little things. He's a winner. They win another game where he scores 0 points. He affects the game. He's tough. It is impossible to ignore the fact that they show more resolve this year with PJ Tucker on the team than they ever have in the entire process year without PJ Tucker on the team.
So I want to talk a little bit about the bench and sort of Doc's usage of it, because it was kind of a weird game from that perspective. Like, he didn't really seem to trust Jalen McDaniels. Did seem to trust Georges Niang for no clear reason that I could tell. And I thought this was a really obvious game for Shake to get some minutes, and he never saw the floor at all.
No, he's buried. He's buried.
What do you think's going on there? And then what do we even like? Do you just kind of play 6 guys and you steal minutes here and there and hope they?
I think he's at this point, he's got the guys that he can trust to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there.
It's not a lot of guys though, especially without Embiid.
Well, he played 8 guys tonight, right? And he normally plays 9, and that he didn't have Embiid. I just don't think he trusts those other guys. Look, Niang, there will be a game where it actually reminded me of the Heat Knicks game. I'm watching the last 5 minutes of the Heat Knicks game, and like Jimmy Butler can barely walk, and the Knicks are almost like ignoring that he's out there. Like, you go at him every single time. There will be a game when Georges Niang's out there, and they will go at him every time, and they'll have to pull him out. But I think Doc just trusts him, and when the other team's shooting 70%, I feel like you probably have a better shot of trying to like score with them than stop them, because it's not like they have stoppers anywhere on the bench. So he just trusts Niang.
I guess I can't believe I'm saying this because I was the biggest anti-House guy 2/3 of the way through the season, but I'm not sure what Doc saw in the last third of the season that makes him trust Niang more than House. I don't get that at all.
Wouldn't you trust Niang to hit a big shot more than you trust House to hit a big shot? Niang's fearless.
Maybe, but not by like a large margin at this point. Yeah. It's been a long time since we've had since that Milwaukee game where he hit like 5 of them. I can't remember like a spotlight Niang performance, and that was like 2 months ago at this point.
And by the way, I've been the one since Niang got here to say that I don't think he can play in the playoffs, right. But I'm just trying to figure out why. I think just at this point, Doc has the guys that he's gonna trust.
Well, it's like you say, it's going to hurt us in one game in this series. But look, we got this one. Who even cares about the rest of the series at this point? I cannot believe they won this game, even though I knew they would.
So it seems only fitting in a in a celebratory but tragic way that Joel Embiid will win the MVP on Tuesday night, the day after the Sixers might have their biggest playoff win, one of the biggest playoff wins of the process era, which he didn't play in because he was injured. A couple of headlines on this. First of all, I'm over the guessing and the reporting and the I know every reporter is trying to do their job. We even read quotes from the Kyle Neubeck article talking to a doctor about it's nice to know what an LCL sprain is, but the guessing as to when he'll be ready, and the reporting on it from everybody, from the leaks to the guessing to everything, it's just fucking dumb. If he is healed enough, he'll play. And the team should be a little bit more clear about what everything is, especially if they're going to leak stuff. Why is Shem saying it's worse than a grade 1 sprain when there's clearly 3 grades? Just say whatever the fuck it is. All of it. And by the way, it's not like I need to know. I don't need to know. I just selfishly want everybody to stop talking about it because I don't think it's compelling. I don't think it's interesting to debate. I don't think it gets us anywhere. I think it's just fucking dumb. And the other thing I would say is that if you expected him to play in this game, knowing everything that we know about Joel and then everything that we know about this specific injury, deciding that you believe it is the least severe and he would come back at the shortest end of the least severe diagnosis is like crazy. And this is a knee sprain is just what kept Paul George out for 5 weeks. This is a 4 to 6 week injury. So I hope he's able to come back. He will come back if he can. It's fucking awful that it happened. It's awful that like this series is now marred by that. But I can't take the constant talk about it anymore. It's just so boring to me.
Yeah, you're right, but I still disagree with you. Objectively speaking, like you're right, it's nonsense. I need those like little morsels of updates, even if there's nothing. It's like, like you text like you're an old friend or a relative or something, and like you don't hear back from them for a while, and like you can't figure out why, and you start to just assume that they're mad at you, even though there's no real evidence to that. Like that's what it's like not getting an Embiid update. It's like the longer we go without hearing anything, the more my brain just starts to fill in the worst possible scenarios. And like I just need like it's fine. Like give me an update that's half positive and half negative, and like they're optimistic, but they also think he's not going to play until game 3. Like whatever. Like give me any little bit of ridiculousness there, and I'll eat it up. And I think most of us probably will, just because what else can we do? We can't do anything. He's hurt and it sucks, and we just have to read like whatever little signs we get and interpret it in the best way we possibly can. But you're right, it's nonsense, but we don't have any better options right now because it's just a shitty situation.
Yeah, I guess it's like I don't know what to do with any of the information. I just cast it all aside.
There's nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Big Barker, therapeutic dog beds. I'm going to be honest. My dog Rebel is the love of my life. I love that fucking dog. I love that dog. I got Rebel here. You see this guy? You ever see this one? Got Rebel here. Got Good. Rebel here. I love my dog. You love your dog too. Your job as a dog owner is to give your dog the best life possible. Think of all the love your dog gives you, all the happiness and joy your dog gives you. If you don't have that dog sleeping on the best possible bed, the bed that keeps your dog the healthiest, you're fucking up dog ownership. You're just fucking it up. BigBarker.com/Ricky. Go to BigBarker.com/Ricky. You go there. You not only get the Big Barker dog bed, which is the best dog bed on the market, the only dog bed proven by Penn Vet to improve your dog's health. Joint stiffness down, quality of life up, pain severity down. You not only get that, but you get 2 processed pup patches, and you earn the right to send us a photo of your amazing pup on the Big Barker dog bed, and we put him in the processed pup gallery. Rebel sleeps on a Big Barker, has for a number of years now, and I am proud that we have Big Barker as a sponsor. All you need to do is look at the pictures, and you can see the difference between Big Barker and every other dog bed. Every other dog bed is a pillow. Big Barker is a real mattress. Real mattress. Big Barker Jr. for tiny dogs, up to the XL Big Barker. Headrest, no headrest, all different colors. 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. 1 year at-home trial. If you don't like it or your dog does not approve, they will give you a full refund and pay for shipping. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds. So what do you think? Just to wrap up the Embiid thing, as I say, all the speculation is dumb. When do you think? Do you think he comes back for 2, 3? What?
I at this point, I'm kind of hoping it's 3. Like, I don't think that there is much of a chance of them winning both games in Boston. Great if they did, obviously. I would rather, we got the one. I would rather see Embiid back in Philly, this time with 1-1, not having to crawl out of the 0-2 hole. I think that, but look, I just don't fucking know. Like we were tweeting about this earlier, and you say like, well, I'm doing my, like, I'd rather have him at 5 games 90% than 7 games at 60%. And you say, well, how do you know he's going to be at 90% again by the time the game 3 starts? And I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody really knows. But it does seem like he'll be a little bit better. I just think you gotta take it a little bit conservative with the guy, and it'll be a best of 5 series. You like your chances with the home games. I don't see much of a good outcome coming out of him playing in game 2. I think it's just a frustrating loss, and maybe the one good thing about that is that maybe you just kind of get that out of his system, and you kind of give him a chance to get acclimated to playing with his new body in a game that they're probably not going to win anyway, and hope that makes him more effective for when they comes back home. But I'm not necessarily hoping that he plays in that game. I think I'd rather see him in game 3.
I have to give credit to the Ricky's Mike O'Connor, who has been.
By the way, love Mike O'Connor. Like I sometimes I feel like I can't feel worse about the team, and then I read a Mike O'Connor about like, no, this is like why they're actually like really screwed. Like, yeah, that probably makes sense. It's tough, but it's true.
But all that privately, Mike O'Connor has been they're beating Boston the entire time.
Really?
He said today, even when I told him, look, earlier today, we may have gotten a little info that we were pretty sure that Embiid was not playing tonight. And I was like, hey, Embiid's not playing. He's like, he complained about the injury, but then he was like, I don't care. The Celtics are, Michael, I'm sorry, Mike, I'm sharing your text messages. The Celtics are soft losers. Tatum has a Kobe fetish. Jaylen Brown thinks the Mayans invented basketball. Al Horford committed basketball terrorism in Philadelphia and cannot go unpunished by the universe.
I love salty MOC. It's one of my favorite brands of MOC. And by the way, MOC, absolute legend. Love his stuff always. I complain about him being negative, but I'm just as bad, and he's the greatest.
The hard to stomach YouTube comment of the week comes from Justin. Justin says, so excited to be on the pod for a relationship advice segment. Then immediately gives the worst take ever. Your primary care physician doesn't even need to be consistent. They have charts for all that shit, and those folks are interchangeable. You can even go get a second opinion if you want. Ain't nobody got a chart on your hair and beard. There's a huge level of trust needed there, and there's nothing another barber can do after a bad one's maimed your head and face. AU, we got a lot of feedback, emails, as well as voicemails. Maybe I'll play some of the voicemails from you about your barber take. To catch everyone up, we got an email essentially saying that somebody had a regular barber. They switched to another regular barber when the first regular barber doesn't spend as much time at home, and was thinking about cheating on the new barber with the old barber and not telling the new barber. To which I said was unacceptable. You have to be honest about it. Barber's very important. Barber. And you're like, I just go to whoever's open.
By the way, like the second I saw your facial reaction to like my lead sentence of that answer, I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be like way more of a thing than I thought it was gonna be. Like I really did not think I was getting that deep with this. I thought I would get like an eye roll. Oh, hey, he's so whatever. I did not anticipate the seismic reaction to this.
Yeah, it was really, really big. We got a bunch of voicemails to 833 Lickface.
Hey guys, just at work. It's Nick from Australia here again. Just heard AU's take on the Barber thing. And I've got to say, that's one of the most messed up things I've ever heard. I mean, I'm Australian, we do some weird things, but This guy just going, yeah, just go to whatever barber. I've got several barbers. I'm just going to like go to whichever one might be open, and walking in and just going, yeah, do whatever to my head. You know this better than me. That's just stupid. That's like if I went into a cafe and they say, oh, what would you like to order? And I say, oh, I don't know, man. You know coffee better than me. This is
I would say this to my
Chocolat,
barista, by the way.
where they spin a little thing around and then they decide, oh, you're based on this thing, I know what chocolate you're going to like. No, this is a situation where you go in and you say, cut my hair like this. And they say, okay. And then you give them some stupid amount of money afterwards for cutting your hair off. It's ridiculous. Other than that, AU's actually been pretty awesome on the pod. Keep Mike banned. But he's clearly a psychopath. But just got a little bit further in the podcast, and now CJ's on there going, yeah, I agree with AU. I think, your first available barber, blah, blah, blah. What the heck? This is a guy who almost just got fired and was lucky he escaped by the skin of his teeth because you guys got over the 10,000 mark just recently, and he comes on here with this all-time bad take. I don't know. I think it's clearly the wrong decision. You should have made it 12,000. That guy needs to go.
Wow.
Poor CJ, man.
Poor CJ. Wait, here we go. Hold on.
Yeah.
AU needs to be banned. I just paused the podcast to make this call during relationship advice. His take on barbers, while wildly unsurprising, somehow I knew this was going to be his take, is unfathomable. I just don't know what to say. The idea that you could just go to a random barber that you don't know, different one every time because one of them is open, that's ridiculous. I live in Lancaster County. My neighbors are freaking Mennonite. There's cornfields everywhere. I still managed to find an actual barbershop near me with a guy, Curtis, who's from Philly, and he's awesome. He does a great job with my hair. He has an 18-month-old daughter, right between the ages of my son and my daughter, and we talk about basketball. We talk about football. We talk about our kids. We know each other's names. I don't even go to the same barbershop for a different guy if he's not there. When he's not around, I can't get my hair cut. That's just how it works. AU, banned. Craig from Lancaster again. DJ, what the hell? I should have listened more to the podcast for my last call. DJ, Russian roulette with a barber? Just load the gun the rest of the way. Just do it. The Russian roulette thing may have been a bit of a violent metaphor on my part. So, CJ, I just meant the haircut. I don't want you to die. But you should be fired. Anyway, love the pod.
And they just kept. I wonder how long.
Hey guys,
I think we got 17.
17
ban AUs. Yeah, I could play them all in a row if you want me to. So
no, that's okay. Thanks. I appreciate the offer. But look, first off,
several emails. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Well, first off, thanks again to CJ for jumping in on my defense. I'm sorry that it apparently has cost you dearly in the estimation of some of these listeners or whatever. So look, the take is the take. Obviously, I didn't anticipate it being so inflammatory, but I couldn't walk it back at this point if I wanted to.
Yeah,
it is generally how I feel about haircuts. Whatever. What I did get wrong, and what I do actually sort of want to apologize for, is implying that it's a take that anyone else in the world should necessarily have. It's my feeling. And I did hear from plenty of people who actually did agree with me, and I do appreciate that. But I also heard, as you certainly have, that a lot of people didn't agree with that, and I don't want to deny the validity of these people's relationships with their own barbers. I know that for a lot of people, the barbershop is sacred. Particularly, it plays a very large role in a lot of Black communities. I respect that. It's not unfamiliar to me. It was stupid of me to act like it was.
No,
that's it. Look, okay. Let me keep going. What I should have said is that I personally just can't relate to any of it. I hate getting my hair cut. I always have. It's a stressful, emotionally trying experience for me. I have a weird relationship with my hair that I've had for several decades now. It used to be long and beautiful. Now it's thin and short and terrible. I hated getting it cut then. I hate getting it cut now. And going to the barber for me, it's really like going to the dentist. It's like a very distinctly unpleasant experience. Just looking to get through it as quickly and painlessly as possible. I'm clenching my teeth basically the entire time. It's not a knock on any of the barbers I've had, who are generally very nice people, very professional people. Try to tip them well. But And it's also not a comment against anybody who does get like a joy or satisfaction or any kind of like connection through their haircut or the barbershop experience in general. So it's never going to be me.
Wow, a statement. You've really ended this entire topic by making such an emotional statement.
But look, I'm still going here. So just let me finish. All right. Okay. Look, so I'm not judging anybody for their personal feelings on this matter. People who want to get their hair cut more often than I do, more than once every couple months. I respect that. You probably should. But I just asked, to hopefully not be judged too harshly for my own personal feelings on the matter. Want to keep the relationship, polite and formal business exchange. That's all I'm willing to sign up for, really. And just for the record, I do still think it's kind of insane for your spouses, like if your spouse to like challenge your fidelity by like trying to get you to cheat on their barber as like a relationship stress test. If that is actually what that woman was asking.
I don't think that's
wasn't.
No, I don't think. I got a follow-up email. I don't think that's what he was just being funny.
All right.
Yeah,
because that's just strange. If that's the case, that's just weird. You can't convince me otherwise on that. But
no.
To anybody else, the guy who asked the question, do apologize for being dismissive, making it seem like his opinion everyone should have. It's just me. I'm just weird about hair stuff. I say, love your barber, be faithful to your barber, invite them to your wedding. It's all good by me.
Okay. Writes to Ricky. Wow, what a statement from AU. Writes to RickySanchez@gmail.com. This came from Alex. Hi, Spike, Mike, and CJ, even though Mike is banned. After years of introspection, I think I'm now comfortable with my bar for success of this team, and that is valiance in round 2. My deep existential crises with this team have not come from losing. They've come from losing embarrassingly, from star players checking out and shrinking from the moment. My investment in this team throughout the regular season can only be paid off by valiance in this round 2. I would love for us to win, but I need us to fight. Whoever is the leader on this team needs to shake the fucking foundation right now. What is your actual bar for success this year? Thank you for being there.
Sorry, can you repeat the first part of that question? I'm still reeling from the...
He just wants to know what your real bar for success is. He says that yes, for this year, he says that his bar for success is a valiant fight in round 2, which I understand, but still seems like a loser mentality to me.
Yeah, the bar for success is winning round 2, and it sucks that they probably, the odds are against them and shit stacked against them and whatever. I wish that there was some lower bar that would be clearable and still feel okay, but it's just not the case, and they gotta win this series, and now at least they have a chance, which is better than a lot of people thought we were gonna have. But yeah, like there's no moral victories here, unfortunately. You don't get to say, oh, we tried hard. Everyone did their best, stayed healthy. It's win second round or we're done. Gotta do something else.
This comes from Dan, Spike, AU, and CJ. Good evening. After game 1, I purchased an Out the Mud hoodie from local entrepreneur BBall Paul Reed and would like to report on my experience. 1, during the third quarter of the first BBall Paul game of the postseason, I DM Paul. He replied exactly 21 hours later. 2, in Keith 91111 Pompey's January article on Paul's business, he affirmed the business was booming. Medium hoodies in green were sold out. I am here to report that the colors blue, purple, green, red, and pink are all sold out in medium. That's right. The only color available for the average frame is black. No word on when this supply chain issue will be resolved or if Paul is purposely holding back these colors to create more demand. 3, on Wednesday, BBall Paul sent me tracking. And upon checking, I found the package was already outside my door. The return address on the package was a Michelle Reed of Orlando, Florida, who appears to be the mother of BBall Paul. And so I asked, basketball question, 0.5 over under De'Anthony Melton game started in the Celtics series. And non-basketball question, does BBall Paul pay his mother to ship his hoodies, or does she do this as a favor to her son for free? We'll do the non-basketball first. I think she's in on the business and she gets a cut of the profit.
Yeah, she gets a percentage for sure. I don't think he's like paying her like an hourly wage, like have her fill out a W-2 or whatever. But yeah, she's definitely getting something out of the deal. I would hope so. Anyway, BBall Paul's a giving soul, and he wouldn't want to leave his mother working for nothing there.
Do you think De'Anthony Melton will start a game in the Celtics series? Sixers Adam was theorizing this, that you could see a PJ Tucker at 5, De'Anthony Melton game rather than you're gonna have to stop it.
Well, but why would you in this series? Like we've seen now BBall Paul. He was a plus, I don't know, something for the game. I don't know why you would go away from BBall Paul at this point. Once Embiid comes back, it's a moot point anyway. I don't see much chance of that happening, just because Doc is pretty staid with his lineups when he gets locked into them. He doesn't really deviate from them very often. But yeah, I mean, I would take one De'Anthony Melton over PJ Tucker game, sure, if that happened. If we can go the 3-guard lineup and do the 3 of them and Toby and Joe once he's back. But I definitely don't want I don't want PJ Tucker starting at the 5 at any point in the series. I'd rather him not play at the 5 at all if it was possible.
833 Lickface is the voicemail number.
Hi, Spike, and I guess whoever is sitting in for Mike today, because I know he's banned from game 1. But my name is Jackie, and I'm just calling because I saw yesterday when the Sixers tweeted out their pictures of them, boarding the plane and packing up, getting ready to go. James Harden was wearing his expensive pain hoodie, which is the same hoodie that he wore to the Eagles home opener last season, where they proceeded to stomp on the Minnesota Vikings 24-7. Unfortunately, that does mean Sixers in 6. So just wanted to share that. Let's go.
The hoodie appears to be good luck.
Let's go. What else is there to say, really?
Any comments on James Harden's outfit into the game tonight?
I think he was salty that he didn't get to go to the Met Gala. Like all celebrities, really, no matter what, whether they're sports or music or movies or whatever, all they really want to do is go to this fucking Met Gala. I shouldn't say so much. I don't want to get locked into another take here. Whatever. The Met Gala, if you love the Met Gala, go nuts. Clearly James Harden was feeling left out and he wanted to kind of get a couple headlines for himself. Did you see J.R. Smith's tweet about James Harden's outfit? Yeah,
that he's like the worst dressed rich guy he knows or something.
Yeah, like the phrasing was even funnier than that. It was like the worst dressed richest person, something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly. It was a very good J.R. Smith tweet.
And we're going to end on this question because I have I believe what might be a shocking admission after this. From Chris. Hey, Spike, writes RickySanchez@gmail.com. Spike, hey, Spike, CJ, whoever's filling in for Mike, and Mike in absentia. I wanted to weigh in on the Barber debate from the last pod. Spike's argument was that the guy should go to the barber who is available year-round, even though his barber is slightly worse than the barber who's available half the year. What Spike's argument basically boils down to is that for barbers, availability is the best ability, not actual barber ability. That leads me to my non-basketball question. Would you rather have the Kevon Looney of barbers available all year and does a good but not incredible job, or the Joel Embiid of barbers for half the year, available for less time, but when they're available, they're the best at what they do? Spike, does this expose you that you have secretly been team availability is the best ability the whole time?
It's a fair question.
I'll be honest with you. Availability is a very good ability. And I was thinking about it going into the game tonight as Joel Embiid was not available. And I was thinking to myself, fuck, we have another series where this fucking guy is not available. I love him. I'm not saying this fucking guy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I've had this sneaky suspicion the entire time that availability is at least in the conversation for being the best ability. I don't disagree. I would rather have, I'm going to be honest with you, for haircuts, I don't know if this is for every situation, I would rather have the Kevon Looney of barbers than the Joel Embiid of barbers.
Right. Well, I'm not going to weigh in on this one, obviously. I'll let Mike take this if and when he's ever unbanned. He'll have opinions about your availability opinions. Let me ask you, though, was there any pushback at all to your women be lying take from the last podcast?
Oh, are you just mad that you got all this hate and I didn't get canceled because I said women be lying?
That was a very bad 80s stand-up routine that you were dipping into there. I'm surprised.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I made a joke at the expense of when I'm so sorry, AU. I'm so sorry. Please don't cancel me. No.
That's all right. I'm not going to have to answer questions about barbers for the rest of my life.
I did not get
on that one.
Do not just because you have a lot of pressure on you doesn't mean you got to start shooting guns at everybody else. And I will repeat this. I got no pushback. The reason his wife thinks it's okay to cheat on the barber is because women be lying. They lie. They're more okay with it. It's deceptive. She seems no problem with it. It says something, maybe not about her. I'm just That's the truth. I did not get any pushback.
We got Abby in the comments saying women do be lying, so I guess it must be true in that case.
Women be lying. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fair enough.
I'd be lying. All right. What a win.
What a win.
I thank everyone for watching, listening with us. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to subscribe. We would love to get to 11,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of the playoffs. And I would like to dedicate this episode of the podcast to Al Horford's wife, Anna Horford, who once appeared on the Ricky and is a huge Celtics fan. I'm sure she's going through it tonight. Al Horford's wife, Anna. What a win. What a win. You knew it was coming. I did know it was coming. I will send the text to you later to prove as much. But yeah, look, this was the shot, and I don't know if you could say the series would be over if they didn't get it done tonight. But do you think they're going to win the series? No. Oh boy, I still can't quite get there. But look, it's a chance. We'll see how Embiid looks in game 2 or 3, and hopefully we see him sooner than later. And look, man, it's like you said. It's a real series now. Like now they can win this series. They can go to the conference finals. They can do the thing that they haven't done. This is already like uncharted waters for the Sixers. Like winning a game 1. We didn't even talk about this. First time since 1986 they've won game 1 in the second round. Yeah, like this is all very, very new for the process era, and it feels fucking good, man. I like it. I'm into it. I like this winning thing. I can't, the last thing, then we'll go. I'm sorry, CJ. I'm sorry, AU. I'm sorry, me, who has to go to bed. Can't believe it's Monday. Fucking wired. I can't believe Harden hit that 3 at the end. That's the one I didn't think he was hitting. I didn't think he was hitting that. I'm being honest. I didn't think that one was going in. I thought that was a miss. Bigger shot between that and the Embiid 3 in overtime in game 3 of the Raptors series last year. Oh, the Embiid 3, just because he's Embiid. And it's the game winner. Personally. Yeah, as a game winner. Oh, but so was this, the Harden one. I mean, well, yeah. There were still shots after this, though. They had a shot. Close. Yeah. This was a big shot. The Embiid one felt like a true game winner, I guess I would say. Yeah, that's fair. All right. We will talk to you next time. AU, what are you supposed to say now? Greater than grade 1 LCL sprains. Get off my gold. And CJ, are you down with TTP?
Yeah, lick face.